Good morning. We are back on our morning loop walk this morning. Just me and Sophia here in the stroller. Welcome if you're new here. This is a new series I've started that I've called the Morning Loop, where I talk about all things everyday life, parenting, travel, adoption, mindset. And today, as I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about and share, I had my list of ideas, and what stood out to me was talking about overwhelm, because I became a parent in my early 40s and did it as a foster parent. So I went overnight from having no children to having a 2-year-old. And so I was kind of thrust, as we all are, thrust into it with no preparation, in the sense that nothing can truly prepare you for the actual doing of the parenting. And I'm just going to turn around here. We are currently still in Thailand. As you can see, this is not where we live. If you are new and weren't with us for the morning walk yesterday, we are currently on holiday in Thailand. We've got a few more days left and then we head home. And so I was thinking about overwhelm, and I have been on quite the journey over the last 2 years that I think was kickstarted by becoming a parent, but also just other factors too. I think wanting to reprioritize what was important, and also make life easier, and also to make room for new things into my life. And I've been able to do that, and there are a few key things, sort of mantras, systems that I put in place over the last 2 years that have really been transformative for me. And so I thought I would share some of these things and the impact they've had on me, and some of them may resonate with you. So the first thing is simplifying our lives. I think there's an easy tendency to overbook ourselves, overcommit, say yes too much, and not allow enough room for quiet time or things that really bring us joy. And so as I think about simplifying my life anytime I'm feeling overwhelmed, or even just simplifying my day, for me that looks like, what have I got on the schedule? How can I simplify the daily schedule? Whether that be how I schedule appointments, not putting too many things on the calendar for one day. Or it could look like, especially if you're a parent, activities. It's really easy to succumb, good morning, to the pressure of committing to all the birthday parties, all of the sports, all of the music, all of the creative clubs and things like that. Sorry, it's just a motorbike going past. And another one. And so what I try to do, I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. And so for my 4-year-old, I try and just do one activity at a time. So right now, we're just doing swimming. So we just have one evening a week where Jameson does a swim class and I do a tennis class right after that. And that's it in terms of our activities. And I find this helps with preventing that burnout feeling of sort of rushing around, going from place to place and feeling like you don't have that time to take a deep breath, and also time to just play at home. I think having a 4-year-old, I find that he's just much happier when we've had time at home just to play on the floor. I'm going to turn around. So it sounds a bit oversimplified, But yeah, simplifying life is one of the things that I have introduced. For me, that also looks like meals. How can I simplify what meals I make? How often I cook meals from scratch, where I can duplicate things, you know, cooking a batch of food and having half of it and then freezing half of it. And yeah, just simplifying everything where I can. Another way I look at simplifying is enjoying the more simple pleasures of life. And for me and for us, this looks like having a focus on being outside and on nature. So I try to introduce, being outside every day that the weather permits. But as we're playing outside, stopping and looking at things, whether it be like the fish in the water in the stream or certain birds. But I encourage my son to look around him and see what he can notice. And I find that we really enjoy our outside time when we have a focus on just using our senses to see what's around us. And for me, that helps with being present. Being present with my son and enjoying those moments. But also it helps me when I'm just looking around me, using my senses. Helps me fade out the noise of the to-do lists that are bouncing around in my head. So yeah, that's the first thing. Simplifying wherever you can and whatever that looks like for you. And it's going to be different for everybody. The next thing that I have done over the last 2 years is gone on what I would describe as a pretty significant minimalism journey. And that started the beginning of the year 2024, so almost 2 years ago. And I started by, it's that 1st of January feeling where you have the New Year's resolutions and you feel really motivated. And this time around, I just really wanted to implement minimizing lots of things in my life, starting with physical things like the clutter in the house, also electronics, but then also looking at non-physical things like, relationships, schedule, where I find joy, hobbies, all kinds of things. And so this started by sort of physically decluttering my space. It started with my wardrobe, and it took me about a year to physically declutter my whole house. And some areas like the closet, I went through 3 or 4 rounds of decluttering before I felt like everything in there was stuff I wore virtually every week and were things that I really liked. And then I moved to other areas of the house, and wherever I could, I reduced things down to 1 so that I didn't have duplicates. So we have, there's 3 of us, we each have 1 water bottle. I don't have extras. When one breaks, that's when I get another one. And same with, simple things like kitchenware for Sophia. She just has 1 plate, 1 bowl, 1 cup, 1 sort of silicone bib. And that's all I have for her. And I just wash it after every meal, put it back. And these are things that, that have really helped me. So now, the main way that our house gets messy is with clothes, because there's 3 of us. And so on laundry day, if I don't finish the whole cycle of laundry and put everything away, then it can look a bit cluttered. But for the most part, our space is pretty tidy. And I think with minimalism, again, I don't think there needs to be strict rules. It's just however it fits in your life and your lifestyle, and which parts resonate with you. For me, I think better, more clearly, and I think I'm more present and more fun when I have a relatively clutter-free space. And for you, it might look, different, and priorities are different. But yeah, so minimalism has been a huge part of the last 2 years. And I feel like I've benefited a lot from it. And by decluttering, the physical space, and then looking at electronics, I took most of my apps off my phone. So if I want to go on Facebook, or I think a worse culprit for me was the news, consuming way too much news, I don't have any of those apps on my phone, so I don't have easy access to them. If I want to look something up, I go onto my laptop, and I find that sometimes I do want to look something up, and that's totally fine. I'll sit down, look it up on my computer, and then when I'm done, I go do something else. And over time, so it's been more than 18 months now, I don't quite as much reach for my phone in a moment of silence or boredom, or if I'm waiting in line. It reduces reaching for your phone being that reflex that we all have. So yeah, minimalism has been really, really wonderful. The final thing that I have done and implemented in lots of ways is slowing down. And again, these sort of mantras or systems, things that I have implemented, might not sound life-changing, but they've made a huge impact on me. So I'm just going to turn back around. It's busy here on the promenade this morning, so I'm just feeling a little extra awkward, but I'm going to take a deep breath and move through. So yeah, slowing down. I thought as a parent, once you had children, life would be like really hectic. There's this sort of phrase of, you have kids, you're running around with your kids. And I have found it to be completely the opposite, especially having a newborn. It really forced me to completely slow down, because I was used to getting up and going walking, going out to do stuff whenever I wanted. So whenever I had a moment of boredom, I could get up and go and do whatever that might be. But having a newborn, now I'll caveat that to say I had an exceptionally chill, easy newborn experience. So I don't say that to be boastful, but for me, the baby was an extremely calming presence, and it slowed me down and chilled me out significantly. I think that prior to kids, I had a mentality of assessing my day, the success of my day, kind of at the end of the day when I thought about how good was today, of looking at it in terms of productivity. And that was definitely a trap that I was in for a long time. I would just look at, how much did I achieve, accomplish, tidy up, all those things. How much of that did I do today? And having children, I have been able to mostly change that mindset from a productivity assessment to looking at how much did I enjoy my day. I think the person that I am, I like to have a tidy space and I like my house to look visually appealing, look nice. And so I easily fall into the temptation of, when I'm home, looking around and looking for things that need to be done. And if there's lots of things that need to be done, that used to really bother me. And I would find it hard to relax until, the dishes were away, the house was tidy, the vacuuming was done, and that kind of thing. And now I have relaxed on that front quite a bit. And now I look at how much fun did we have today, how joyful was the day. And I get that sounds really cheesy, but adjusting that mindset from one of productivity to something else, whatever that might be. So for me, it's looking at, I think, joy and finding that in a child and playing with my children. And how much did we laugh and smile? How much did we enjoy our food? How much did we get outside and move? Looking at those things instead of the eternal checklist that I typically had in my head. So anyway, I wanted to share those things, simplify, minimize, slow down, as some of the things I have implemented over the last couple of years. And hopefully some of these things might resonate with you. There may be something that I've described in a different way, or an idea that it's given you that might help. So thank you for joining me on this morning's walk. We're here in Thailand for a couple more days, so we're going to get to have, it's clouding over a bit, but this lovely backdrop, and then getting ready for a 2-day travel day back home. And then we'll be back to resuming the walks back in my hometown in America. So anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next walk. Bye.